Hello, my name is Amaia Beverly, and I'll be talking about how to improve Apple's PR presence. So, as we all know, Apple has a few social media outlet pages such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And each social media account that Apple has, the account has huge following bases, but on each account, they rarely post anything until the new release of a new product. As a result of the lack of posting, the company has many problems with the customers who need help or want to give feedback on whatever they have that is an Apple product. So I came up with 4 solutions to help with how to improve the social media outlets for Apple. So the first one being post more beyond just around the time of new releases. So for example, they could post holiday, just anything, happy holidays, or just post anything like how do you like the new phone that just came out, how are you enjoying it, or give feedback. They could do like little raffles, contests, anything of that nature, just to engage with their customers, because Apple really doesn't engage that much. Another thing I said was assign 1 or 2 people, such as interns, to manage each social media account to respond to customers' postings. So, for example, I know some people on Twitter, for example, they always say that Apple's chargers or Apple's headphones always mess up. So they could have their interns respond to that and see like how they could fix it. They could see what needs to be done. Why did the customers feel as though the chargers never last? They always just basically they don't see that the chargers are like lifelong, or not even lifelong, but lasting longer than a month or two, or whatever the case may be. Another thing is I said to respond to direct messages, mentions, or posts, broad messages directed to all questions and concerns that people have. So sometimes all customers could have the same question, but they never know like other customers are asking the same questions. So instead of replying to just one single DM or mention, they could respond with a broad message, just saying like, hey, due to this amount of questions, or this amount of this high demand of something, or whatever the case may be, they could respond to that instead of just doing it one by one, or they could just respond to each direct message, mention, however they would want to do it. um my last point was to post promotional things to continue engaging with customers. So they could post, even though Apple only posts, I think, maybe twice a year for whatever they have going on, they can post like promotional things like you can get 50% off this or 20% off this, because Apple rarely has any sales. And if they do have sales, nobody knows about it unless they go in the store, and nobody wants to go in the store. So they could have post promotional things like of sales going on inside the store, online, or whatever the case may be for that. Um, Reasons for the changes. The reason that these changes need to happen is because as a corporation, they should never make customers feel like there is no way to reach out to the company in which they support about any question and concerns they have regarding any product they have. These changes should be considered a necessity for business owners and 500 corporations to keep the communication going with their customers. So basically, just having a healthy relationship with their customers, like not even a specific one, but just a broad, like all of their customers, like everything. I'm sure Apple is like such a big 500 corporation that they can't just talk to one, or can't know specific problems or concerns with at least like 20 customers, but they don't know any concerns like at all. Like if you go on Apple and you have a problem, they always say like reset your phone. Like they don't really know any specific problems, so they could just have a stronger communication with their customers. And lastly but not least, we had to do the research on how Apple meets the strategy wheel. So one way in particular that Apple meets one way in particular that Apple meets certain things within the strategy wheel is with the tracking and monitoring software. With this part of the strategy wheel, the corporation meets this by setting objectives such as releasing specific information about the product's new features that grabs consumers' attention. So for the setting objectives. It could be like for like what I said about just releasing specific information. So they could just literally release like one part, but it could be like a big part of their objective to grab people's attentions to like make people want to be a part of Team iPhone or whatever the case may be. And another way that Apple meets this strategy will is the distribution channels and strategy. And with this one, Apple always sets out to create new features to upgrade their inventions, whether it be for phones, iPads, and earphones. So basically, for like updates on phones, like they always just setting out ways to set apart from Samsung Galaxy. Like they always want to make their phone different, or they even, if they don't release a new phone, it's like 10 updates a year, or 10 might be dramatic, so maybe like 4 updates a year, just to keep giving customers new ways to use their phone, new things to use. And how the company does not meet the strategy well would be through the content and communication strategy. And the way that the corporation does not meet the strategy is because they do not develop or optimize content and messages for maximum impact. Apple does not aim their promotional messages to make a maximum impact, but instead aim to continue posting different promotional videos and images. So like when they post something, they just do that so that they can post bits and pieces. But instead of doing that, why not just post one big broad like video on promoting the new technology piece device that is about to be brought out? Like they could just they do it basically so that they only can, I guess, keep people interested, keep saying like, oh, did you see this, did you see that? But at the same time, it's like it takes more time because they have to stay on top of their social media and also have to stay on top of what they are creating. So I feel like that's how they don't meet the strategy well. And a plan to elevate the corporation would be by continuously consider the business goals that were set for the month or a year to make sure each one is met, to strengthen the corporation's communication tunnels between the customers, and to strengthen the maximization of messages for a stranger impact to their target audience. And that's it.